It's a Hooking Up and Tracking Down show, going into our 13th season. Show dedicated to all outdoorsmen of all levels. Guys committed to giving you the facts about what's happening in the hunting and fishing world. They continue to share stories, information, and give advice on the great outdoors while making sure outlaws are exposed for the bad people they are. So pull up a chair, kick back, and prepare to be entertained as we pull the trigger on another presentation of the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. Here are your hosts, the legends of outdoors radio, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
Hey, thank you for tuning in, hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger. We've all taken our temperature and we're okay. So,
do you believe guns? You know you should.
yes,
Did you really?
yeah. Mine got a 357 in it. It
still
works every time.
Loaded.
It works every time.
I still like to do mine the baby way.
Oh, do you? You want to put your finger in something. Always. It's Gary McCoy, the Ranger now, Pro Staffer Steve Graff, the old mud hen Mike Eccles, and little Jaybird Watley is back with us.
Hello, guys. We're on a 2-cough limit today. More than
Two
2
calls?
coughs, and you're out. You're out.
Hey, I see you're wearing is that an LSU Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, we can call it that. Sure.
Oh, man, that's pretty sharp.
Flowers.
Yeah, like he's on vacation.
Yeah.
This is as close as I think we'll ever get to vacation.
Right.
Here today.
Hey, you noticed the shirt? You didn't see that plate that he brought in a while ago.
No, what do you got?
We got food.
What is that?
Spaghetti.
Not no
Spaghetti.
teenies?
Yeah, no teeny. A
Hey.
little sketty.
Golly.
You
You saved that from yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, heck yeah.
You
I'll say I
suck.
eat this all week.
You
I'm
suck.
14. It's better than the SpaghettiOs at the house.
This part of the show is brought to you by Despino Tire, Steve Nichols Specialty Trackho, Primo Targets, Lost Frontier RV Park and Marina, and Bayou Outdoor Super Center. Get ready for spring travel with a new RV or motorhome from Bayou Outdoor Super Center. Stop by 1800 Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. See the entire lineup of RVs designed to add comfort to your outdoor experience at the Bayou Outdoor Super Center. Can you turn the volume down on that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're listening to the MLF. Well, he's watching,
I'm watching
the MLF
And I'll give you a quick
in the
update.
background.
They actually, the championship round, top 10 anglers today finish up.
Where are they? What lake?
They're on Lake Athens.
Where is that?
Right out, outside of Athens, Texas.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't know if it's Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, it could be. That's right. You're right. Okay. But anyway, they're just off Lake Fork, coming off Lake Fork for the last, 4 days. They've been on Lake Fork. And Ott Defoe, as of right now, is in first place with 8 pounds, 4 ounces.
Are they still making them do the 2-pound fish?
Good question. I think so, but I'm not for sure. Andy Montgomery's in second with 4.08.
I just like Andy Montgomery.
Yeah, he's good angler.
Have you watched much of him, Mike?
No, I don't ever watch him except in that commercial for that Lucas Oil.
That he is one of the most down to earth country guys. I'm telling you what, and I know he's listening right now. When I see Andy Montgomery, do you know who I think of? Johnny Johnson. Every time when I see Andy Montgomery, I think
Physical
of
appearance?
tall, lanky, talk real country. So Johnny, when I'm watching Andy, I'm thinking
I
of you,
thought
brother.
Andy was listening right now.
Yeah.
But Ott Defoe is in the lead.
Yeah, he's in the lead. Andy Montgomery's in second right now.
I was watching FLW. You know, they are at what is it, Lake Martin?
Lake Martin.
Right now. I was watching that a little earlier, and I'm still surprised that these tournaments are able to be held in light of what's going on with the coronavirus right now. But Nick LeBrun said, "Thank God, we're able to do this." I want to say Nick was in like 14th, 15th place. He had a full limit, went a little under 9 pounds. Randy Allen, our buddy Randy, third place when I checked a little while ago. He had a limit, went about 10 pounds. And first place was a limit with 12 pounds. And I don't remember who that was.
What tournament's that?
That's FLW.
FLW, okay.
Yeah.
Pro Series.
I can't remember what Randy was fishing.
Now, Randy lives in Del
Gillum.
Rio.
He lives in Gillum. Sold his place out there.
Oh, he did? Oh,
And he's living up on the river.
He bought Andy Marsalis' ranch up on the river.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
yeah.
Good deal.
And I'm going to tell you right, his dad, Randy's dad, and I have been friends for 30 years, Ray Allen.
That's a fine man.
And Ray is one of the finest men you will ever know. He retired. He was the welding instructor at North Caddo High School for years and years and years. And his wife, Randy's mom, Willie Mae, they have a florist shop there in Vivian. And if you ever catch Ray Allen without a smile, rest assured you have caught him at the urinal, and he's had a problem.
That's when you generally see a smile on my face.
Ray's just one of the most likable men in the world.
Now, Randy's wife's a fine person too. She's
Yeah.
got to be put up with Randy.
Uh,
No, but she is. And you know her name?
no,
Fred.
Fred.
That's her name.
That's Randy's wife's
Yes,
name
sir.
is Fred. I never knew that.
I didn't know he was that
Randy
way.
was in the bass club with us. We were all in the Black Bayou Bass Club together.
I thought Randy was normal. You know.
He married Fred, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder if he has to shave Fred's legs.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
you never know.
I better shut up.
We had a Lucky 13 tournament Sunday on Cross Lake,
Yes.
and I saw Benny took some fish.
It did. I mean, we actually surpassed the percentage of people that we normally expect to weigh in a tournament like this. You know, when we started this, we looked at the Sweet 16 on Sam Rayburn, put on by Outlaw Outdoors.
Out.
Outlaw.
Outlaw Outdoors.
Yeah.
Outlaw Outdoors.
Yeah.
And we figured it up, me and Jeff Holder, and it was like about a 15% of the field had 16 pounds or over. And that's kind of what we expected, but we surpassed this with about 35% of the people. Anyway, Brandon Tingle, Damon Tingle won it. They had 5 fish that weighed 20.88, and they had big bass. So they won. We had
And that fish was what, 685, something like that.
685.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you knew that.
That
I
Dave
know.
McCoy is something.
I'm telling you.
I'm impressed.
Second place was Terry Burkhart and Jeff Holder. Their 5 fish weighed 1898.
Now, is it true that Terry and Jeff caught their fish drop shotting out in the middle of the lake?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, that's what they told me.
Yeah. With a jig on it.
In 47 foot of water. That's
Yeah.
just what I heard.
With a half-ounce jig.
Yeah.
And I know where it is because I know where the only 47 foot of water on Cross Lake is. You couldn't measure horizontally.
Yeah,
47 feet of water on Cross Lake. Trip Bowman and Matthew Nesbitt
Way to
came
go,
in
boys.
third. Third, they had 1835. Josh Johnson, always in the money. Bubba Roy were fourth with 1771. John Ryan and Steve Ryan, fifth with 1453. And they got the Alpha Energy bonus money for coming closest to 15 pounds without going over. And then Doug Cheney and Eddie Shaw, 1377 for sixth place, and they got the money for coming closest to 14 pounds without going over. And then Brian Bradshaw and Brent Glover last place in the money, but they got the check. They had 1321. So we had
Way to go.
seven strings over 13 pounds.
Hey man, that's
Congratulations.
really good stuff.
Yeah.
That's a neat concept.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you got 13 pounds, bring them on in.
Yeah.
You're gonna get paid.
Yeah, you know, no standing around waiting.
Right.
Find out
You know
the
you're
first
in the
out
money.
And it's
Does 13 pounds exactly get you in the money?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it had to be 1301.
No,
Okay.
it just can't be 12.99.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I slapped Big Mike by and weighed 12.99. Whoa, you weighed him wrong.
I'd be spitting on the scale.
Yeah, you weighed him wrong.
So,
I'd slap Big Mike and then run, but I'd slap him.
anyway, that was it for that. Now,
Okay, we also had a high school tournament on Caney Lake.
Caney Lake, Louisiana North Division. Manny High School absolutely dominated this event. They came in first. Manny Tigers had Cooper Miller and Landon Sepulveda with 5 fish that weighed 19.6. Had a big bass of 8.1. Lutcher High School was second. Walker was third. Manny High was fourth. Jacob Cosenza and Stone Adair.
Oh, that's Andy's son.
They had
Andy Cosenza's son.
16.13.
Sure it is.
Well, it is.
And had a 6.3 anchor. And then just looking down the list, Sam Houston High was 5th, Walker High was 6th, Central. Negative Central was 8th, Caden Elkins and Asen K. They had 14.59 with a 7.27 anchor. And so congratulations to all those guys. They had a really good turnout for this event. And North Louisiana was represented well with Natchitoches and Lakeview, as well as Manny. Red River. Just looking down the list, a lot of schools made it over to that event at Lake Canyon. And Canyon Lake is fishing really well, guys.
I remember the time when 19 pounds wouldn't have put you in the
No.
top 40
You're right.
on
You're right.
Candy Lake.
Candy Lake held the state record at one time.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it is on the comeback. There's grass back in the lake again. Garrett gives me a report off that lake quite often, and he said, man, it's getting good there again. He said, so look for some big fish to come out this spring.
All right, you definitely want to be listening here at 11:15. Lake Fork guide Johnny Geis is going to be on the Primo Target hotline with us. And we were talking a few minutes ago about the Lucky 13. Trip Bowman and Matthew Nesbitt finished third place in the Lucky 13 the other day. And we have had a little problem of late with some of the high schools because those boys are really good ambassadors for high school fishing in the state and are members of the Houghton High School fishing team. And because of that, with a number of these high schools now being brought into the LHSAA, with the sport of fishing being sanctioned, inclusive of Houghton High School, some high schools said, no, we don't want none of that.
Right.
We're out.
Right.
And Houghton, I want to say Benton also has elected to not participate. Well, coming up here at 11:30, the LHSAA Assistant Executive Director, Adam McDowell, is going to be on with us. We will discuss the myths and facts related to bass fishing becoming a high school sanctioned sport.
What in the world we have him on for? Facts.
Yeah, what kind of show you think this is, Brad?
Hey,
Come on.
We're going to hear from the horse's mouth today, buddy.
Well, I've heard
We
from the
normally
other
hear
end
from
of
the
the
other
horse.
end, yeah.
Also on today's show, we have, I guess we're just going to have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Jay?
Wow.
I'd have never said that.
No.
Wow.
Now, bass fishing has been affected by coronavirus.
Yep.
And in a number of ways. And we will visit here
Tournament bass
the
fishing.
tournament bass fishing as it stands
As it
now.
stands right now.
Because we don't know what this afternoon might hold or
They may-
tomorrow.
Lock the gate and throw the key away.
Right.
Yeah.
But we do know. I will give you this. Kurt Carver is going to be on the show with us here at Straight Up 12 Noon. He's the owner of Toledo Town and Tackle. They're at the intersection of 196 and Highway 6, or 191 and Highway 6. Yeah. And he's going to tell us how the COVID-19 has impacted him as a retailer and what he's seeing going on around Toledo Bend right now. But I will tell you that I just discovered prior to us coming on the air 13 minutes ago that the Lake Bistineau State Park is now officially closed. They say they will use it as a COVID-19 coronavirus staging area. I don't know exactly what staging area means. Because I believe they are going to ask all of those who are camping there, RVs, cabins, to evacuate, to move out.
Right.
I believe that's.
I need to go in there and get my climbing deer stand out.
You need to. But leave your corn feeders there.
Yeah,
I can jump
exactly.
fence. If you'll leave that feeder, I'd appreciate it. But they have closed the Lake Bistineau State Park effective immediately with no end date given. Now, it might only last 2 weeks. It might last a month. We don't know. But as it stands right now, Lake Bistineau State Park is closed. So therefore, you can't use that ramp. Any of the facility will not be open to us as just regular individuals. I'm assuming that maybe, with a staging area, that might mean that people that might be evacuated out of an area or something like that are having to use.
Tested positive.
I don't know. I don't have any idea. But we will hopefully in the next.
Probably like a hurricane. People that aren't smart enough to take care of themselves, we have to take care of them for them.
Well,
I mean, seriously.
I
I wasn't smart enough to get in the car and leave Baton Rouge. New Orleans.
During a hurricane.
Yeah. So I want the government.
So I need somebody to send me
air
a
conditioned
camper.
Greyhound down there and feed me luxury meals.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me when to leave.
Sit tight, Tiny Guys. We're going fishing on Lake Fork. You know what?
Yeah.
I have not determined yet that any bass has coronavirus. I think they are all COVID-19 free.
We need to be in the boat with Johnny today.
Amen. We'll visit with him here in just a sec. Sit tight. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
If you missed a segment of today's show, you can go to HUTDshow.com, a site dedicated to you and the great outdoors. This segment presented by J&J Exterminating, Exodus Batteries, Kiowa Rods and Reels, Super ATV, Spro Lures, and Gamakatsu Hooks. See why so many pros rate Gamakatsu Hooks the best hooks on the market today. Ask your local taco dealer if they carry Gamakatsu Hooks.
You know, all fishing lines are not created equal. You've got Seagar, and you've got that blankety blank line broke. You've used that other line before, haven't
I've
you, Greg?
used that. I've used that line.
And then you got Seagar.
Yeah, then I bought Seagull.
Yeah, well, that's the way it works. At Seagar, they specialize in making line that's tough, durable, and dependable. Fluorocarbon or braid, Seagar has a line that is perfect for what or how you want to fish. Now, they also have a great line of monofilament as well. So, yeah, I mean...
Well, actually, Seagar had discontinued their monofilament.
Oh, come on!
They discontinued it, yep.
Well, so what I've got left on my spool is
Better enjoy it, because you won't get any more.
That's the last of it.
That's it. No more mono.
Whether it's Tatsu, Red Label, Abrazex, and Vizex, or their awesome Smackdown braid, Seagar will take you to the winner circle. Go to seagar.com to find a dealer near you. Seagar, always the best. And on the Primo Target hotline
Stop.
with us.
I gotta do this. I'm gonna
Oh,
forget
that's right.
Gotta do it. I'm
Papa,
sorry.
that's you.
School is out. Kids are at home. And I've got a 3.5-year-old grandson sitting there smearing peanut butter and jelly on the wall and listening to me on the phone. Easton Hunter Eccles, Papa loves you. Miss you. And thanks for listening, buddy.
Okay. We know we got one. Easton, well, we got two. Easton and Michael Eccles are both listening.
Yeah.
And so, Johnny Geis, there's at least 4 ears on you right now. Lake Fork guy, Johnny Geis on the Primo Target hotline with us. Johnny, are they jumping in the boat yet, brother?
They are. Easton, get the Papa to bring you over here and fix stuff.
Woo! That's right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
I noticed.
They're not jumping in the boat, but they sure jumped in the pros boat those 4 or 5 days they fish here.
That's what I was about to tell you. You know, the MLF set it on fire. It seems like every time the pros come there, you know, it's like they all can't wait to get back to Lake Fork. Are you could we as amateurs get anywhere near to doing what they accomplished?
Oh, they hit it perfect. Of course, I guess we say that every time, but they did. Stars combined, water got up to 70 degrees in some areas. The very first day was absolute best, and then it turned a little bit colder. But all in all, I'd say probably 75, 80% of the fish they caught, they actually were looking at them, and there were tight fish them just right on the bank. There wasn't a lot of fish up, even though they said there were a lot of fish. And I bet altogether with a couple of tens and few nines, there's probably 4 or 5 over the slots caught out of all that slug fest. It could have been an average 5 fish legal tournament on fork. There'd been a lot of 8, 9 pound stringers and a lot of zeros because they were all good quality 3 to 4 pound spot fish. So,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I bet they wish they were on fork today because Lake Athens is not showing out at all. They're struggling over there with 1 hour left in round one. Ott Defoe's leading it, Johnny, with 8.04, and there's some people who hadn't caught nothing.
I just looked at that right before coming on, and only 3 or 4 fish a piece. But hey, that little lake got a lot of fish in it, and we had a real hard rain thunderstorm early this morning. I don't know what they had. It's only a little over an hour down there in Athens, but I got a feeling they'll get that one figured out by the second period. And I'm still predicting probably 30, 35 pounds to come out of that. It's that quality little lake too.
Well, Johnny, you just brought something up that's a real good teaching point for all of us. Obviously, everybody would like to be there just ahead of the front. What's Johnny Geis's approach when you're right after the front? I mean, it was lightning and storming and a frog strangler of a rain. How does Johnny Geis approach Lake Fork when you see a situation like that?
Well, if it's springtime and there's still some laying around and sticking on the net, you almost have to do that when it's real tough, especially if it's bright enough. There's not many, but they can be found, and that's a surefire way to catch a few fish. But it's not a good guide technique because only one person in the boat gets to have that fun. If you got 2 or 3 guys in there with you, you have to take turns on the side fish. But what I do is to answer your question of this general tournament. I've learned a long time ago. I believe one of those called a go pawpaw. That's where you fish real slow. And I drop down on line, about 8 pound line. Sometimes it goes 6 in the rest of the year, but springtime, the 8 pound line, little short finesse worm, wacky worm. You can still get bit that way, but you just don't go out expecting to chase a fake bait or underspin or big moving bait. So.
Well, John, I bet
Cold front
I'll bet your phone has blown up because with everybody at home, they're all looking for something to do and somewhere to go where they're not in a big crowd. Has your bookings really picked up?
Well, I say we got the coronavirus over here. Come on over and get
The coronavirus.
What a safe place to be is out on Lake Fork. You and 23-foot boat, the other guy in the back. So you can get a lot of space, and it's a great place to be. But all that said, I have had a couple of cancellations already, people that will fly in. So I've got some good open dates. But I've not changed my lifestyle. Maybe I'm naive, but hey, I'm getting up every morning, working in the boat shed a little while when I'm off, and going fishing the rest of the day. So I'm glad I'm not in a plane somewhere in a big city, but feel pretty comfortable when you're on the water.
Well, all I know is if you get on your deathbed, I want your GPS coordinates off your units before you go.
You're a sick man. You know that? You're a sick man. That's it,
Hey, we got to pass that on, Johnny. We got to pass that on.
Johnny, now I'm wondering, because we really didn't have a winter, and then we did have a couple of weeks that it just kind of the winter that we had kind of came at a weird time.
Yeah.
Where are we? Are we on an average year as far as where the spawn has progressed, or have you seen it yet to really materialize, or is it almost over? Where are we in that regard?
We did not have a February spawn like we usually do. Water just got too cold. 29 degrees night, and water stayed right at 50 for the longest, 49, 50 degrees. So nothing happened in February. It was a pretty good movement last week. 2 days after the moon. It didn't happen on full moon. It was 2 days later. It started going up. We had some warm nights and a good warm Thursday day, a warm trend into the 70s. And they clobbered them, and it got progressively a little less each day. So, answer that question, too, our April's always been better. So this next full moon, when April comes up there, it's going to be a lot better where everybody catches a lot of fish. There might not be as many, 4 to 6 pounders as they're caught now, but there'll be a lot more fish being caught.
And that looks like the top water bite. Even watching some of the MLF this week, the top water bite seems to be definitely kicking in gear already.
And I was really surprised to see Fish Lane catch him on a prop bait. And then the frog bite developed. And I came back to boat here this morning, had a day off. And I'm digging out the old frogs now because we've got a pretty good shoreline cover with the alligator weed and the vegetation behind it. And these fish that are doing a little bit of the spawning right now, they're going to be guarding nests. There'll be a lot more aggressive fish bites next week. We got a few more days of rain after that. Next week looks like some super good warming weather, and I'm excited about it. Lake Fork hasn't picked out a 13-pounder yet, so it's due. We usually get one or two in March.
Johnny, I know a guy that used to throw a buzz bait in January and February and catch fish on it. But for Johnny Geis in Lake Fork, if somebody's going to say, I want to throw a top water, what's that number, that water temperature where you say, okay, now we can do it?
Oh, these fish ahead of a buzz bait, 2 degrees water. I've seen that happen. I've got a big old black rowdy buzz, rowdy head, slacker type buzz bait on. I've got the fog on now, so those will stay on 2 rods and braid. And I'll be fishing underspin for a little moving bait, a little light trailer, a swim jig, and then you put your wacky worm hook on and a weightless hook on, and pretty much get through the whole spring. Here's a little time where a rogue and the old style of switch bait right on top. And when it gets maybe real calm, you can really entice a big blow up sideways. It's pretty much back down to basics now that we get into this springtime.
Johnny, what determines the shed spawn? Will the water get up to 65, 70 degrees? And what will predetermine that?
Well, we're probably at least a month away from a good cast spawn. They'll be probably the last thing to come in and spawn. Usually that happens around the 1st of April. And I don't know if that's just a timing deal of when that species gets around to spawning or if it is warm water, but never hardly see them happening right there. Maybe a little bit on the tail end of the May spawn, but boy, once it starts, that's when the most fun or work happens. When these little big fish get to running the points during the early morning, and then you get out there and catch them post spawn. You pre-spawn still hanging out there, but that's a great time on Fork to catch them.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest question, Johnny, that most people are going to have is Tiffany's still putting out hamburgers, right?
Amen.
They have hamburgers and they got the pies, guys. So you can sure get that good around here. And I think all the pros enjoyed their visit to Lake Fork from everything that they, all that content that's on the Major League Fishing now. Somebody does get fired up about watching that and those capabilities of Fork. They've been living in a hole. I know it's there. And the week before, believe it or not, that pond, Mark Game Machine caught 85 pounds in. I had customers from Monroe over, and we scratched out 5 little bass out of there. And I told them, this thing is loaded with fish. They're just not biting.
Well, Mark just caught one on MLF just now. It was a 5 or 6 pounder, and he caught it on a floating methylate worm, is what he's throwing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I've got a whole bag of, actually, 1 gallon bag of methylate trick worms, and I just put them in the boat, too. So it's kind of good to watch these guys, and then you bring back. I've got some old black tail lizards I found, and they're in the boat right now. So just a lot of fun to get out there and get these spawning bass. So it's a great time.
Okay, somebody wants to go with you right now. When is that full moon? Do you know?
I believe it's the second, third week in April. I'll have the date.
we're approaching a new moon this coming week.
Okay, so once you finish the new moon, you're 2 weeks
2
until.
weeks away.
Okay, so 3-4 weeks off. We're gonna see that full moon. What does somebody need to do to maybe get in on some of that full moon spawning action? During that month of April with you, Johnny.
And I want to comment too. We do have somewhat of a spawn sometimes on that new moon. So there is a movement that happens there as well. Maybe not as pronounced as full, but hey, just give me a call at 972-800-3882. There you go, 972-800-3882. LakeParkBigFish.com is the website, and watch that Facebook page. I've been posting some pretty fun pictures on there, and man, these big crappie they keep me kind of watching them every day too. If we run into one of those, we stop and get the best of those too.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, the crappie edition that you have made,
Yeah.
to me, I just don't know that it gets any better than some of those big old crappie, especially when they move up shallow like this,
Exactly.
and you got a ton of them, and with all the electronics that you've got there, it's an incredible education that somebody's gonna get. Make that phone call right now. Check him out, LakeForkBigFish.com, his Facebook page and everything. Johnny Geis, the Lake Fork Guide of the Year, what now, 5-6 years in a row?
At least 5 in a row.
Yeah. We are hooking up and racking out. Thank you, Johnny. 11:30, the Tiger.
The Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Sam Rayburn Marine Resort, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Nichols Department Stores, Commercial Power Equipment, and Bass Champs, the #1 team trail in Texas. To see the entire Bass Champs schedule, go to BassChamps.com.
If you're looking for a great place to get away from the coronavirus, what's it called? Coronavirus?
The Kimona virus.
Yeah, coronavirus, and catch a fish of a lifetime, head over to Lake Fork, Texas, and Lake Fork Marina and Motel, the big bass capital of Texas. Ken and Dana Donahue welcome you to come spend some quality time at their place. Great cabins, motel rooms, fully stocked tackle store, a first-class RV park, and one heck of a restaurant makes this the #1 resort on Lake Fork. So just pick up the phone and make your reservations today by calling 903-765-2764. Lake Fork Marina and Motel, and home of Lake Fork Guide of the Year, Johnny Geis.
On the Primo Target Hotline with us, LHSAA Assistant Executive Director Adam McDowell. Adam, thank you so very much for joining us this morning, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Hello to all your fans. Glad we have something to do today, something to talk about. Hopefully something positive here for a change.
Hey, man, the crazy part is that, with all the sports that have been canceled and stuff like that, I mean, it's just the weirdest time of the year for us all, because normally we'd be talking about basketball championships and track and upcoming spring football games and things of that nature. But it is all about the sport of bass fishing recently being sanctioned as a sport by the LHSAA. And one of the things that strikes me with this, Adam, is that I wonder with a young athlete, a bass fisherman, doing what he does, is he not going to be able to participate in a regular bass tournament where he might be a prize winner, cash money winner? Will he lose his amateur eligibility if he does that and tries to compete in one of the LHSAA events?
Well, thank you for asking those questions for you. And I just want to start first by backing up a little bit. So kind of give you and your audience a little bit of background here on how we kind of got this started. about a year and a half ago or so, I was approached when I was up in Shreveport by some members of the FLW saying, hey, you realize that a lot of our prep anglers, the majority in our tournaments are all coming out of the state of Louisiana. I was like, no, I had no idea. Didn't know. And they asked me, would you ever consider maybe sanctioning the sport as an official high school sport? And I just answered honestly, I never really thought of it, didn't know about it, didn't know much about the sport of bass fishing in particular in terms of the high school realm. But I started to do a little research. I met with my colleagues in our summer meeting last summer for the National Federation. Each summer the National Federation of State High Schools, there's 51 state associations. We all get together for a week over the summer, and we have our professional development meetings and break out in different groups and talk about all of our different sports and things of that nature.
Adam, Adam, I hate to interrupt. Well, I don't really care. But I want to be clear on something. You're saying that the LHSAA never thought about this, and FLW came to y'all with the idea.
They did. FLW approached us first.
Okay.
And for the record, we have not officially sanctioned bass fishing yet. That has to be approved by our member school principals at our annual convention in January. And as of right now, obviously, everything has been postponed on our front for our regional qualifiers and our state qualifiers due to the coronavirus. And we'll see if the governor allows us to go back to school, if we can pick that up again or not. But what we'll do is we will present bass fishing to our membership next January 2021, for adoption of the sport, to essentially treat it like the rest of our sports that we run on behalf of the LHSA. So as of right now, it's a non-sanctioned sport. We were approved by our executive committee last April to do a probationary year just to see how it goes, and to kind of shake out some of these issues that we may see. In terms of eligibility, whether the LHSA sanctions bass fishing or not officially has nothing to do with bass fishing. We do have an amateur status rule. It's 1.25 in our eligibility section of our handbook, and that can be found on our public site on the LHSAA.org. It does says if directly or indirectly receiving pay or financial benefit in consideration of or as a reward for participating in any sport, in any public competition or exhibition, or disposing of prizes for personal gain, then your eligibility would be in question. So whether we do bass fishing or not has nothing to do with whether or not we sanction the sport. If you've got your star quarterback on your football team goes and participates in a bass fishing tournament, wins a couple $1,000 or boat for that matter, sells the boat to receive that financial gain, and they're popping that off on social media, and another member school principal sees that, and I say football because people have got their eyes out for this type of thing, and sees that, they could theoretically turn that into our office at that point that student athlete's eligibility would be in question.
Has that issue come up? Has that happened?
That has not happened.
Okay.
That has not happened. The one kind of sports that I've seen that happen before are in, let's see.
Golf, rodeo?
Golf, I would
definitely. No. It's CrossFit. It's CrossFit competition.
Oh.
That's what I was getting at. So we've got student athletes that compete in these national CrossFit competitions, and they've won a couple of $1,000 here or there. Now, luckily, we do have a rule in place that says if they pay that money back, then we reinstate that eligibility. So that's happened a couple of times.
And it doesn't apply to scholarship opportunities. And it doesn't apply to scholarship opportunities, right? In other words, if they won scholarship money, that doesn't apply to this rule, right?
That is correct. That does not apply.
Right.
So sum it up, Adam.
What I was saying is I have a hard time. We can't write rules. We can't make any rules. We can't enforce rules for sports that we don't officially adopt. So what I could do and what I will do if we put up the sport of bass fishing for adoption next January, I have the authority to then make a waiver in. I'll write it up as a waiver for that amateur status rule that those bass fishing, because the sport of bass fishing is different, and I understand that we have to have some type of monetary prizes just to get people to come to these competitions. I get the gas money is expensive. I get the equipment is expensive. Boats are expensive. It's all expensive. It's an expensive sport, right? So we can write a waiver if the sport gets adopted to not include bass fishing in that amateur status rule, just for the nature of bass fishing. But if it doesn't get adopted, we have no authority to write rules for that or to waive rules for that amateur status rule. We would just be waiting until somebody finds some member school official sees one of our anglers that participates in other sanctioned sports, wins some money, and now they're under the gun with their eligibility.
Okay, so what you're saying is whether or not you have sanctioned the sport of bass fishing has no relevance. Right now, if a high school quarterback participates in a bass tournament and wins any money, if he just wins his entry fee back, which might be a couple of $100, then he has foregone his amateur status even in the sport of football.
That is correct. If that person is turned in by one of our member school principals, now nobody in our office, the LHSA only has 16 paid employees. I promise you none of us are out there looking for that type of thing. We only follow up on those things that are sent to our office by our member school principal.
And that day is coming.
But
now.
if I were a coach, and I had a big rival, maybe a 5A rival,
I'm telling you,
rest assured, I'm watching everything that his marquee players are doing.
As a former coach myself,
right now, they are doing that. Those coaches are watching other teams.
Exactly right.
The steps that they do. If they are practicing when they shouldn't be practicing, handling the footballs or baseballs when they shouldn't be handling footballs or baseballs. But yeah, we get those reports all the time.
Yep. Now, here's my question to you, and maybe LHSA will look at this and say, how does the student angler benefit? Do they benefit by us sanctioning high school bass fishing? There's already an avenue for these kids with BASS, FLW.
Well, I can tell you this right now. I'm going to stop you right now. I'll tell you how we benefit or how our anglers benefit. It benefits by me adding that sport. That's the only way that I can write a rule that waives that amateur status rule just for bass fishing.
So then that quarterback could participate.
That would be
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at doing. But without stopping the sport, we have no authority.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now, Adam. And first, I'm gonna tell you that there's nobody in the world knows less about sports than I do.
Amen. That's true. He's not kidding, Adam.
Well, maybe Jay.
But I will give you right now. I will give you 10-1 odds that when you write a waiver to exempt the bass fishermen, because it's bass fishing, you said the same thing FLW did, is different. And you write that exemption, the first time a football player or a baseball or a basketball player takes you to court, you're going to lose hands down. You can't make an exception just because bass fishing is different. I'm just saying, my opinion, you're going to lose in court.
Well, that's kind of what we're looking at there too when we write a lot of these rules is are they defensible, right? So we have legal counsel that goes over that with us, and they'll take a look at those rules before any of those go up for adoption or anything like that. So
your lawyer can't know as much as I do.
But I think there's some confusion here, though. And maybe it's on my end, which wouldn't be surprising. But I think what Mike was saying, that if it's challenged, but if you write the rules for that and change that, then it won't be challenged.
Well, sure, it can be challenged.
But it won't be challenged because it's in their benefit.
It doesn't matter. If you say...
No, you're not understanding where Mike is on this.
I might not understand.
What Mike is saying is all of a sudden a football player is given the opportunity to participate in a 7-on-7 tournament that's going to pay cash or something along those lines, or he's going to be given the opportunity to be sponsored by Nike,
right,
and he can't get that, then he would challenge, well, why is it that bass fishing
because it couldn't
can right? Why is it that bass fishing can do that, but we can't? And they're going to challenge the legitimacy of the difference in the two sports.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah. So currently that amateur status rule encompasses any sport or any public competition, whether we sanction it or not.
Okay, I've got one last question, and not as a sportsman, as a bass tournament director. What about What about the teams, the father-sons teams that have already told me, I've got this figured out. When we win money, you write the check to me and not to me and my son. We're going to bypass the rule.
I'm going to read you this rule one more time. Directly or indirectly receiving pay or financial benefit in consideration of or as a reward for.
Yeah.
So is that a reward for how you finished in the competition? And instead of directly paying it to the son, did you directly pay it or indirectly pay it to the parent?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And my question, my response back to them is, so you're teaching your son to cheat right now by doing this, by saying we're going to bypass
That's exactly
the rule.
what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, certainly there's a lot to consider. There's a lot before you, and God love you. You know, I mean, because you guys have had so much success with all of our coaches here in the state of Louisiana. What do we got now? 12 state championship football teams, something like that. I do not envy the position you're in.
No. You got a tough job, man.
At the end of the day, we have to find a way to make work whatever the principals have.
Right.
And we're going to make it work, for the best interest of the kids. We'll make it work, whatever they decide. But I do want to leave you all with this. What we're looking at, everybody always asks me, what's in it for the LHSA to look at this fast fishing option? And my response to that is, we're trying to find any way that we can to get those kids involved with their school that otherwise would have no involvement. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say probably the majority of our high school anglers are not also participating on the football team, right?
Oh, right. That's true.
So, how do we get these kids in our school environment? How do we get them involved in the school? Because we know research has shown that those kids that are involved in their school will become more successful and better contributors to our society later on.
Good stuff.
And I think we have a huge amount of our anglers here in the state that we can get involved with the school if we get bass fishing going on behalf of the high schools.
That's as good a point as you would ever need to make with any angler, any hunter. Because I've always believed the kids like Steve Gordon, Northwood Bait and Tackle, their bumper stickers have always said there at Sportsman's Corner. They say the kids who hunt and fish don't steal and deal.
Yep.
And I just really like that. Adam, thank you so very much. Adam McDowell, the LHSAA Assistant Executive Director. Sport of bass fishing not sanctioned yet. It is before them. We should know more next January. And Adam, we're going to expect another interview with you after that decision in January.
Absolutely. Call me back anytime.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Adam.
Hook it up, track it down to 11:30. Thank you.
If you're looking for insight and opinions, check out our blog page to see what's on the minds of these legends of the great outdoors. This segment presented by Candyman Pet Lodge, Jimmy Grande's Natchitoches Ford, Bass Cash Bash, Toledo Town and Tackle, and United Rentals. Need tools and equipment that can handle your spring cleaning needs? Or maybe you have a spring project coming up. United Rentals has everything you need to handle any and all jobs you may have. Go to UnitedRentals.com to learn more.
Here's your cigar fishing line tip of the week. No matter how experienced and angry you are, you will get a backlash every now and then. Even with today's high technology reels and the ability to control how much line is coming off the reel, you will still get a backlash. But one way to help prevent this
Throw a buzzbait in the wind. Watch what happens.
is by how much line you actually put on the reel. Over-spooling the reel with too much line can also cause backlash issues. Remember, if you're only using the reel for flipping and pitching, you don't necessarily need a full spool. 3/4 spool will probably be enough, which helps eliminate too much line coming off the reel at one time. This has been your cigar fishing line tip of the week.
Hey, I'm going to tell you another one. Throw a whopper plopper at night on a cypress tree leg.
Yeah.
Watch what happens.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, just be forewarned.
You can throw line off the spool, that's okay.
Okay, new restrictions from the SRA and Toledo Bend. And, boy, this was a huge discussion. I actually wrote an article about this on a couple of different websites. And,
So you're an official expert?
yes,
That's what
I
I'm talking
was
about.
on
That's why
it.
you're on
I
here.
was on it. The Sabine River Authority actually sent a notification to the Louisiana Oilman's Bass Invitational first, and because of that, how many anglers do they have in that? A couple thousand.
It's dropped since what it used to be.
Okay.
There's two of them now.
Okay, you got Texas and
Toby
Louisiana.
and, yeah. and
Texas
there's,
and Louisiana.
Loby.
Yeah, Toby and Loby. Yeah, twin kids.
Yeah, exactly.
They used to live. One was on the west side of the river, and one was on the east side of the river,
Exactly.
and they split up because they had too many people.
Yeah, in the middle.
Yeah,
That's like those twin sisters I used to date, the Lee sisters.
Lee.
Up and home.
I know them.
Yeah.
Any rate, and no discredit to the Sabine River Authority on this. They are just doing what the president has instructed and what government
What
has
CDC.
told them. Exactly. They are trying to adhere to those new regulations, especially in light of the fact that, we started off, you couldn't have gatherings of 250.
Right.
And then that was reduced to 50. Well, then the CDC has now come out and said, hey, we need to limit this to 10. Well, because of that, the Sabine River Authority has made the announcement that
That was yesterday, the 10, wasn't it?
10.
Yeah.
They have made the announcement, hey, here we are now, and we're not going to be able to have any bass tournaments out of Sabine River Authority run locations.
Right.
And I want to say on Toledo Bend, the SRA has what we call Circle Drive. What's that called? Oak Creek, Oak Ridge, I think is what it's called.
Circle Drive.
But
I don't know.
Circle Drive is the pay marina, but we always called the public marina the Circle Drive, but it's I think Oak Ridge.
So
and then you go.
You educated me. I didn't know.
Great,
Yeah,
great
and,
time.
and then you go down to Converse.
Yeah.
And that one's
That's a public. Right.
that's an SRA.
Yeah.
And then you go down a little bit further, and you've got the Blue Lake Boat
Blue Lake,
Launch,
Yeah.
and that's an SRA. And then a little bit further down is essentially right there in the same area, just around the point, is the North Toledo Bend State Park.
Yeah.
Then on the other side of San Miguel Creek, you've got the San Miguel Boat Launch. And then I want to say
That's private.
San Miguel is private?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea. Okay. Well, then a little bit further down, obviously, is Cypress Bend.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last one on the Louisiana
I
side.
think you're right. No, South Toledo Bend State Park.
South Toledo Bend, yeah. So what you've essentially got, especially with Cypress Bend being involved, all they had to do was say, hey, we can't hold a tournament here. And that just really cuts out tournaments on the lake.
And I understand. Well, they're not closing the ramps.
No.
They're just shutting down tournaments.
Now, you can't go into any of the SRA locations. They won't allow you to go inside either. They will service you through the drive-through window or by telephone or email.
Okay.
If you want to get like an RV spot or something like that, I don't think that they're renting out the cabins right now.
No.
But if you want to get an RV spot or do some tent camping or something like that, or just use the boat ramp, you can. But again, all that's only exclusively through the drive-through window.
Right. And Bass Chance.
So I got a question on it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because of that, the Oilman's tournament April 3rd and 4th has been called off. I know that I was in contact yesterday with John Kelly from Menden and they were at San Miguel. They have been instructed to call off and it might be affecting some private launches, but they were instructed to pull the Sibley Bass Tournament, the Sibley Fire Department Bass Tournament, which was going to be there. My question is, we've the Texas Team Trail, which was this weekend, that's been pulled, postponed. What's this going to do to Randy Despino, to the Despino tournament on April 5th? Because the Lobie,
his has also been postponed.
Okay, because I didn't find any. I went
to his
website.
The Dylan Post and the
Despino.
Both of those have been. They're going to be probably July or later.
Okay,
is what they're looking at, postponing them until later.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on as of right now. Bass Champs Mega Bass, which was scheduled this weekend for Lake Fork, it has also been moved to July the 19th.
Yeah.
And Lake Falcon team event has also been moved to May the 30th. So Bass Champs also, again,
they're just following what they were instructed.
Following the new protocol.
To do, right.
Yeah. And,
Boy, I'm going to tell you what now, this is the weirdest thing, because for the last 2-3 years, all I have heard about is how us tournament anglers are the ones responsible for killing Toledo Bend. It's all of us tournament anglers. Doesn't have anything to do with anybody else.
Yeah.
You tournament fishermen are the ones that have ruined Toledo Bend. We used to be number one, and then all of a sudden, tournaments came along, because, we never had tournaments before we were number one. But all of a sudden, these tournaments came along, and y'all have killed the sport of bass fishing for all the rest of us. Well, guess what?
We can't fill our freezer anymore.
No. So guess what? Your wish has come true.
Yeah. Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
ABA Open Series, Southeast Texas. I talked to Chris Wayham this morning. It has changed in 24 hours. They were going to proceed not as normal, but they had a contingency plan to have their tournaments. But now the Corps of Engineers has informed them at Sam Rayburn that all the events have been canceled by the Corps of Engineers. All their ramps have been shut down to public gatherings and social events, including weddings, tournaments, whatever. So ABA has been canceled. The Open Series through, I think it's, I want to say it was May something. 60 days. 60 days is what Chris told me this morning.
Mm-hmm.
DFL Lake of the Pines April 4th event has been postponed. FLW has rescheduled through all events that are between now and April 5th. All those are being rescheduled as well where possible. Some of these events will not be made up possibly. The Lady Bass Anglers were coming in Acadish this next week on Cane River for a big event. That's also been changed. They are looking to do something different later on. And
And instead of you just looking for something to talk about, let's talk about the one that's going to affect the biggest part of our viewers, listeners.
Okay. Boss?
Boss and Cash Splash.
That's on my list. That's
okay.
next.
Okay.
Take it away, Mike.
Yes. I forgot what I was going to say now. The Bayou Outdoors Cash Splash Thursday night tournament is due to start tomorrow night. I had a plan to where we could do it as long as the crowd number stayed at 50.
Right.
And I'm quoting the man and woman that run the Outlaw Outdoors.
Yeah.
Sweet 16 and everything else. We have to support our president, and I believe that 100%. But it's also come down to a liability issue. We have canceled the first two Cash Splash in hopes that in 3 to 4 weeks this is straightened out. Mm-hmm. If it does, we will pick up, and since there's only one Thursday night tournament going on, we will run every week until we catch up if things get back on track.
Right.
The Boss on Toledo Bend, April the 4th, has been canceled. Now we're looking at just what Gary just said. Just no state park being closed in May. If this does not straighten out in time for us to have a May Boss tournament, obviously it will have to be canceled. So, what I can do.
We can play it one day at a time for sure.
We can. Is I'm going to start doing some more of the Lucky 13s next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. I think the 28th. I'm going to have a Lucky 13 on Caddo Lake. It's on a Saturday instead of a Sunday, and I can regulate that and keep the weigh-in congregation down to 10 people or less.
All right.
So
sit tight, Kurt Carver from Toledo Town and Tackle, and what's going on in the retail world right now in the sport of bass fishing. That is next. Hooking up, tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
Welcome to the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show, a program dedicated to all outdoorsmen with tips and info that'll make you a better outdoorsman. Sit back and enjoy the legends of outdoors radio. I'm Jay Wadley. Here are your hosts, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff.
Hey, thanks again for tuning in. We are hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger. This segment is brought to you by the Red River Waterway Commission, Daiwa Rods and Reels, Seagar Fishing Line, and Lake Fork Marina. Make your cabin, motel, or RV park reservations right now at the #1 resort on Lake Fork Marina and Motel. And could I just say you're my blood brother? Would that be okay? If you're my oldest son's godfather.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The one of the absolute best friends I have ever had in my life. What, 30 years now, Kurt?
Looking at it.
Yeah.
Do it, Gary.
Dude, you got old.
But I'm not that old.
Yeah.
I have to quarantine both of y'all together.
All right, let me tell you what. If there's anybody I wanted to be quarantined with, have you seen my boy's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
Exactly.
Owner of Toledo Town and Tackle, Kurt Carver. And Kurt, it's kind of crazy because from what Graff was telling me, you remember back in the old days when you just had the little store and it was like March and there would be a line just to get to the rattle traps that went outside the building and wrapped all the way around and went north on 191. And
exactly like the toilet paper deal at Walmart.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Those were, and Graff said it was pretty much like that just the other day.
Yes, Friday.
We had the Texas Women's in here over the weekend, and the previous weekend we had Haynesville Shellfish, which were another oil field related tournament. And yes, it's been rather insane. They're pulling 10-pound bass out of this lake. Right around the full moon, we probably had 10 or so.
Wow.
All across the lake in that 5 or 6 day period.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Now tell me, with this, with those tournaments and stuff now kind of being kicked to the curb, if you will, because of the pandemic. Yeah. Are you still seeing, because people are, a great place for me to be quarantined is in a 21-foot bass boat out in the middle of Toledo Bend. I doubt seriously that we're going to have any problems with my social, what do they call it, social distancing.
Yeah, flipping bushes.
We encourage anyone with a camp or wants to be rather isolated, come to Toledo Bend.
Yep.
It's the place to be. You don't have to worry about lots of people.
What about your restaurant there? How are you having to handle that?
Okay, by order of the governor, obviously we cannot seat anybody in our restaurant, but we still have to-go orders and call-in orders.
Okay,
That's still up to the governor.
So I can still get one of those big old cheeseburgers and onion rings.
Just can't eat it inside the lake.
Okay.
Will you deliver it to me on the lake?
I'm thinking about doing that actually. I've been killing on that.
I'm telling you, I have said for years and years and years, if somebody would just get them a deck boat and a grill, and put it out in the middle of Toledo Bend and ride up and down the river or one of the north-south boat lanes, you could make a pile of money.
I think I'm going to put a margarita machine on it too.
And the girls have bikinis.
Yeah,
that's right.
The cooks.
Okay, so overall, is the sport of bass fishing going to suffer or prosper from what's going on in this country right
now? That's a really good question, Gary. At this point, I can't say with any definite, give you a definite answer on that.
Yeah.
Tournament fishing is going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
It will mean a loss of income for anyone who makes their business on the lake. However, on the flip side, if I predict what I think is going to happen, a lot of people are going to say, hey, I can't go to work, kids are out of school, we're going to the camp on Toledo Bend.
Yeah.
Now, we can recover some of that through that, but I think it's going to suffer to some degree. And I think because, unfortunately, the way our country is set up now is we import so much stuff from China. And between the coronavirus scare and the tariffs, you're having a problem getting stuff out of China now.
Mm.
And even some of the tackle manufacturers, I can't speak to anything but the tackle industry. But there are manufacturers that basically their sole supplier is in China.
Mm.
And of course, China's effectively shut down.
Mm.
So everything that's in the pipeline, if this lasts more than a few weeks, is going to be completely dry.
Well, another thing,
Then you
talking
start
to
showing up on the shelves that can't get product.
another thing, Kevin Jean with V&M was telling me he's got stuff in containers that just trying to get it into port, you know, and get it off the container and get it to him. You know, he said that could be an issue right now as well.
That's going to take time to get all that taken care of.
Well, what's Toledo Town gonna do in this interim? I mean, are you how much of your business it really is the tournament angler?
Gary, back in the day, right when I first met you, okay, we weren't so much concerned with tournament fishing.
Right.
But unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, but as tournaments became bigger and bigger and more prolific here on the lake, yes, we were more concerned, not maybe more concerned, but more attention may have been being paid to the tournament fishermen because lots of times, especially on a tournament like a BASS college, where your kids are coming from out of state that may not have much of the particular tackle they need to fish to the business.
They don't have red rattle traps where they live.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No ropes or anything like that.
Right.
And so yes, that's going to be they're going to buy. So you know, is it going to affect us? Yes, it's going to affect us. But hopefully, we're going to be able to lash this thing out, and it'll be just like when the lake went down back in 2010, where no one could fish the lake.
Now that's going to be key right there.
But see, I don't think we're in that position. Do you think that'll come where the ramps are closed, the lake access is gone?
I don't think so.
No,
but you know, unfortunately, this is my conservative streak coming out in me, I guess. Is that the media, I don't think, has been particularly responsible in reporting the coronavirus. They're almost preaching scare tactics, or they're telling you things to get you to watch more television or more of their newscasts. So if you compare this to the swine flu back in 2009, you didn't see any of this hysteria associated with that.
Right.
And so I think the media has not been responsible in giving us proper information. They're just preaching doom and gloom, and it being an election year, there you go.
A good friend of mine, Dr. Mike Sewell, is head of medicine at Ochsner's LSU Health Report. And he gave the greatest analogy to me the other day. He said, look, I liken this to driving a car. He said, every day I get in my truck and I drive somewhere knowing the amount of people who die daily in automobile accidents. And he says, but I try to do everything in my power to lessen the chance of me having an automobile accident. He said, I got my hands tended to. I'm not texting. I'm paying attention to the traffic laws. I'm watching with my periphery. I'm keeping everything going. He says, and because of that, I've been fortunate enough to where I haven't been killed in a car accident. And he says, and this coronavirus is essentially the same thing. He said, you know, you've got to pay attention. You got to keep your hands tended to. Wash your hands. You know, try to stay away from people who are sick. Don't touch your face and those kinds of things. And he says, but just like with the dangers of an automobile, he said, you can't just curl up on the couch in a fetal position and think that that's the only way to beat this. Life goes on. You just have to be cognizant of the dangers that are involved. And I love that in that, you know what? Life does go on. And if kids are out of school and all of a sudden, you know, I don't have to go to work, guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be in the big middle of Toledo Bend, especially this time of the year.
That's right. Fish our body. But unfortunately, Gary, to counter that illustration with you, you don't have the news media preaching how dangerous it is.
Oh, amen. Right. Yeah. Right. That doesn't make people tune in.
No.
Common sense would go a long way, but there is a definite fact of that.
Yeah.
And, all over.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Jay?
Now,
totally agree.
I'll give you an example. I live on Sibley Lake, Kurt, and I'm out on my dock yesterday, wetting a hook, not catching anything. But all of a sudden,
so it's a normal day.
Yeah, normal day.
What tournament was that?
All of a sudden, jet skis are running down the lake, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's March, and I'm already seeing jet skis. what I see happening is an extension of summer because
Oh, that's a great point.
now they're already looking to cancel school for the rest of the school year.
In the state of Texas,
And-
for sure.
Yeah, and Louise, my daughter got a notification on her phone yesterday from Louisiana board that they're looking to cancel school for the rest of the year. So
No, that's not a done deal.
no, it's not.
But they
deal,
are kicking that
but it's
idea
being
around.
looked into.
Yeah.
And
Well, my concern here would be, it would be great for a while, but if this thing stretched into months,
yeah,
I think the income that people have set aside for that kind of stuff is going to be rethought and say, hey, I'm out of a job, I can't work right now. But, unfortunately, not everybody's going to get paid while they're off. Even the stimulus that President Trump's talking about is going to be basically a drop in the bucket if this thing extends out weeks and months.
Mm-hmm.
you're right. You're right.
It'll be just like another thing pops in my head is back in, I don't remember exactly what year it was, maybe right after Katrina, the gas jumped, had been hovering around the dollar mark, it's up to basically $4.
Mm.
A lot of people quit coming to the lake, so they want to spend money on their boat. So where they were coming every 2 weeks, they might come every month.
Wow.
So
What is gas? What's gas price out on your pump right now?
We went below $2 a gallon earlier this week. I don't know exactly.
When was the last time you were below $2 a gallon? Can you remember?
I can't remember. I cannot remember.
It had to have been then, right before Katrina.
Yeah. Yes, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking that would be fairly accurate.
Well, see, now I'm more concerned with the population explosion that's going to result in this.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
no,
I'm telling you.
I mean, seriously, if everybody's quarantined to their house,
They're going to call them the
months,
quarantiners.
no, they're not. They won't be millenniums. The next generation, they'll be coroniums.
Coroniums?
Yeah. They'll be coroniums.
So
It's a definite possibility, all right. But I don't know. It's just we have not dealt with anything like this in my life that I remember.
No, I
No.
agree.
And it's just there's
Now,
a
Mike,
lot of unknowns.
World War II, Mike, was you involved with that?
when they quit making copper pennies and had to go to the steel, what was that like?
I wasn't even a gleam in my daddy's eye then.
I was wondering what it was like before the wheel. But that'd take a whole nother
But
show.
I tell you what, Kurt, you may be up on this. My grandson showed me something yesterday. It was a list that shows where in about the last 7 or 8 election years, there's been a virus scare.
H1N1, swine flu.
Swine flu. And it's just like, okay, we're fixing to have an election. We got to scare the crap out of everybody where they won't think about who to vote for.
Well, you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping when all this is said and done, and now listen, you got to understand, there's somebody who has buried somebody
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
that wouldn't find any humor or novelty in any of this.
Somebody agreed. I agree.
But I'm hoping when it's all said and done that this will have had the same effect that Y2K crap caused. Do you remember the pandemonium that we went through at that?
And that was media generated.
Sure,
Yep.
sure.
And I bought several jars of that.
Back in
That was-
2008, 2009, we had a different president, and we had the swine flu.
Yeah.
And that killed lots of people, like 4,000 people in this country.
Hey, I know you're in the middle of trying to get takeout lunch and stuff done, but would you mind hanging out with us just a few more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Kurt Carver, the owner of Toledo Town and Tackle, and honestly, I would crown him the king of Toledo Bend. On the show with us, we're talking coronavirus and the effects that it's got in the fishing world, and we'll continue that here in a sec. Hooking up, tracking down, 11:30, the Tiger.
Yeah, I know.
Make sure you check out our Facebook page at Hooking Up and Tracking Down, inside and outdoors info with some great giveaways. Like us and share for your opportunity to win some awesome prizes. This segment presented by Super ATV, United Rentals, J&J Exterminating, Spro Lures, Exodus Batteries, and Sam Rayburn Marina Resort. For a relaxing place not too far from home, check out Sam Rayburn Marina Resort. Volleyball court, kids playground, cabins on a private beach, perfect for a great giveaway. Go to samrayburnmarinaresort.com to learn more.
Isn't he a professional pronouncer?
Yeah.
You know, we could just jam those full about 2 more minutes worth of words if y'all want. I think they're too short.
I can make them longer if you want.
Man, just do every sponsor.
Be careful what you ask for.
We're hooking up, tracking down a Scary McCoy, the Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graham, the professional pronouncer Jay Watley's over there. And
you messed up one time, you know.
No slack, man.
The biggest intro we got.
The old mud hen, Mike Eccles, is in the house. And on the Primo Target hotline with us, my blood brother, he is Kurt Carver, owner of Toledo Town and Tackle. And you know what, Kurt, we spent a lot of time talking about the bass fishing. And
let's talk about COVID-19.
And COVID-19, the coronavirus stuff. How's it looking for the pan fishermen? You know, the crappie and the brim fishermen right now.
That's looking really good. So they're not going to be impacted as far as the industry itself.
Right.
By COVID-19.
Because our crickets are all American made, right? Aren't all our crickets our crickets and minnows are all American made.
That's right.
Amen.
Right.
Well, they're just glad no tournaments are going on.
Got a lot of fan fishing for down here this week, as a matter of fact. I watch the sales every day, and we're having a run on plastics for crappie white perch.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a great thing. You get a deck
boat. I wonder
boat.
if you get 2 pounds of minnows at the drive-in window.
Well, shoot, yeah.
You can make it happen.
Yeah.
You can make that happen.
But you know, you think about the kids are out of school, and you know, and there's the camp. It's right down there on Toledo. You know, we can do school work, you know, on the hot spot from there.
Yeah.
So
I saw a lot of campers on I-49 coming up here this morning. Seriously.
This would be a great time to spend it because you know for a fact kids won't be back in school before April the 14th.
That's right.
So this would be a good time to go to Toledo. Now, are you running in short supply? I mean, have you got toilet paper?
Last time I checked, we did, but you know that's not something I use just a lot of.
Yeah.
So, I think we're good.
Could I come get a case or two or whatever?
Well, we buy them in the big cases.
Okay.
If I get in the jam, I'm gonna take one of those home with me.
I have been confused by that since the beginning. It's like, no, wait a minute, I heard this was a respiratory issue.
Yeah.
Does it make your rectum, you know, fall out or something? I don't understand what takes all this toilet paper.
It's all the meat they're buying.
It's the, you know what? I'll tell you what. I've seen all the memes on Facebook and I've listened to the news. I had to go home this past weekend, and I took a different route. I went up to Winfield and Jonesboro. I didn't see the panic shopping up through there.
Really?
I stopped at a Brookshire Brothers in Arcadia on a Sunday afternoon now, or Saturday afternoon. No run on the meat there. They had a little bit of everything there.
You didn't eat Mexican food at that little spot next door, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
I was in a hurry.
Yeah. Because you'd have needed some toilet paper.
I think you maybe see this in the bigger towns.
Yeah.
Well, the route you took, Kurt, those folks know how to wipe their butt without toilet paper.
Yeah.
They're out in the country. They know how to do it.
As long as you know the sporting goods places and all of that keep sending out those flyers every week, you got something perfect for that.
Yeah.
Kurt, now when it comes to the store and stuff like that, should it come to the point to where, I mean, you've really got to mind your P's and Q's when it comes just to the number of people that come through the stores. Now, obviously, we're playing it one day at a time, but you are set up where you could hand something through the window or something along those lines.
Again, I'll go back to the hurricane Rita. We actually had to do that. In fact, we ran out because the electricity was out. We operated through the door.
Wow.
People were just, you know, a huge influx of people from South Louisiana there, and they come to the door. And keep in mind, I was a convenience store at the time, no real groceries, and they will take whatever you got. And we operated right through the door and never had a problem with any of them. So yes, if that becomes the case, we will operate through the door and
get the fisherman anything he needs. We have.
Kurt, when it comes to bass tackle, what is the one thing that you're going to have trouble probably getting? Is it hooks? Is it tungsten? What is the one thing that you're going to have trouble?
See, there are a handful of manufacturers, rod and reel manufacturers, and some tackle manufacturers that are almost exclusively manufactured in China. With China being basically, for all intents and purposes, shut down for anything like that. Like I said, whatever is in the pipeline currently will eventually exhaust itself, but we're not seeing a problem as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
It'll start with one thing at a time, or two, three items, and you don't see a lot of panic shopping in the tackle industry.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen, enough of this Corona stuff. All right, I got to ask the important question. If I was headed to Toledo Bend to go bass fishing this weekend, what is that one bait I got to have at Toledo Town and Tackle?
Gary, that's the $64 question.
Well, of course it is. That's why I'm asking it. I get paid big bucks to do that.
Well, it costs you $64.
Everybody that comes in and weighs a 10-pound bass here, we ask them. We have a form we have to fill out for the replica program, because most fishermen are going to put their fish back in the lake and get the free replica from the Toledo Bend Lake Association.
Right.
So 10 pounds and above. So we ask every one of them, where did you catch it and what did you catch it on? Just as a survey question that they ask us to do, and for no other reason than that. And I'm pretty sure every single person that we ask those questions gives us something other than the truth.
You mean a fisherman would lie?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they might misremember what they call it.
Okay. I thought it was on a whopper plopper, but it might have been a Senko.
Right now, it appears to be shifting.
Yeah.
Last 3 weeks ago, they were deep, come shallow with this nice weather we've had.
Mm-hmm.
They were on rattle traps, spinnerbaits. Now it's shifting. They were on chatterbaits, shifting to plastic now.
Mm.
And I'm going to just go out on a limb and say, if worse comes to worse, throw a watermelon red super fluke at it.
Yeah. This time of the year, I mean, that's what's happening. So, are you projecting that? Because we talked to Johnny Geis earlier about Lake Fork. Are you projecting that the coming full moon in April, it's going to be just insane?
It very well could be.
Okay.
Very well could be. I'm not going to say it was insane. When was the last one? Was about a week or so ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And it was good. The 2 or 3 days leading up to it, and even the 2 or 3 days past the full moon, they were still catching the 10-pound bass. You can go on Facebook and see all these fish that are weighed in at various places on the lake. But there were even some 11s in there.
Wow.
We had an 11 and a half weighed in here.
Wow. You got my room ready at the house, don't you?
Absolutely. The McCoy suite is ready.
He's had a McCoy suite even in his old house. I'm telling you. Yeah. That is my brother. All right. Well, listen. The sure thing is that we don't need to add to the fire of scare and anything along. So as it stands right now, all the ramps are open on Toledo. Is that correct?
Correct. They have been closed for large tournaments or more than 50 people.
Right. How are we looking in regards to potential? Because I know that you stay in the know with the SRA. Any meetings that you know of that are scheduled where they're talking about anything else along those lines?
They had one yesterday, which led to the postponement of the Louisiana Woman.
Okay.
And all the other ones. So anything on a state run boat ramp, which would be all the SRA parks on Toledo.
Okay.
I believe the tournament out of Zawali is being canceled this weekend. So again, there's going to be some economic impact if the city goes on and on and on if they stretch this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they'll come to a quick resolution and everything will be back to status quo very quickly.
I'm fixing to come move in for a month.
Come on.
I'm headed that way. Kurt Carver, owner of Toledo Town and Tackle. And I'm going to tell you, if you're going to be anywhere about Mid-Lake, they're at the intersection of Highway 6 and 191. You know the spot. Everybody calls it Toledo Town. Whether you need gas, you need tackle, you need a good hamburger, they will feed you right out the window. Onion rings, onion rings that I'm telling you, you will slap your mama
Yes,
over those onion rings.
they are.
And brother, I mean, whether it be the ice, obviously an official weigh station. If you've got one of the Florida Bass that is going to be qualified for the replica program, minnows, crickets, you name it, right there. And Kurt, are you even making yourself available to the public now, or are you just signing autographs? What do you do now?
I gave up autograph signing quite a number of years ago. I'll leave that to you down here.
Hey, thank you, brother. We love you and appreciate you.
Hey, Kurt.
All right, man. I appreciate both of y'all. Thank y'all.
We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Money, it's a gas.
If you missed today's show or maybe just this segment, tune in Saturday morning from 6 to 8 right here on 11:30 The Tiger. This segment presented by Primo Targets, V&M Baits, Jimmy Grange's Natchitoches Ford, and Lake Fork guide Johnny Geis. Make plans now to go out with the 4-time Lake Fork Guide of the Year, Johnny Geis. Go to mybigfish.com to book your trip today.
Here's this week's Super ATV accessory of the week, apparel. Super ATV's apparel line covers the gamut of everything you need. Waders, shirts, hoodies, outerwear, thermals, to headwear and footwear. Now you can protect yourself and look good all at the same time. So before you hit the trails, make sure you're outfitted with apparel from Super ATV. To see their entire line of apparel, go to superatv.com.
And on the Primo Target hotline with us, probably the most bashful guest. We're just a wallflower.
Yeah.
Of a guy. And
we go from Kurt Carver to him.
Yeah, God love him. You know, he just never really has a word to say or anything. You can't ever get him to laugh or really talk. And you know, he's kind of new to this bass fishing world.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to make this as painless as possible for Bob Seeley of Seeley Outdoors and the Seeley Tournament. Hi, Bob.
You know, painless. Oh, that's a sorry ass word. Because I've had enough pain to deliver it in the past 2 hours for everybody.
I can imagine. Where are you right now on all of this issue?
I am sitting in a parking lot in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
Hiding.
Crying.
Well, no, not really crying. You know, I'll tell you something. I got to hand it to President Trump. He's got the broadest shoulder
Amen.
of any human being I have ever seen in my life.
Amen. Amen.
And
he's been damned if he does and damned if he don't.
Oh,
He can't win right now.
I know, well, and I'm not trying to really get into the political bill aspect, but this whole fire sale has become a lot political, and it is affecting millions of people worldwide. And I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. But I tell you, last week I got a call from the governor of Alabama that had to break the news to me that I had to cancel my Alabama event, which was this coming week. And then this morning, about 2 hours, I got a call from the Corps of Engineers saying that I would have to cancel my Raven event. And not 20 minutes later, I got a call from Sabine River Authority stating that I'm going to have to cancel my Toledo Bend tournament.
Oh wow! So they're taking this on the SRA all the way into May then.
Past May.
Wow.
I've heard a 60-day rule. Is what I've heard.
Wow. So, but wasn't Toledo Bend like late May?
Yeah, we were but Sabine River Authority told me that they're expecting it to, exceed that. So what we have done, we've already postponed our Alabama tournament to June, the 12th, 13th, and 14th there on Lake Guntersville. We will be moving the Toledo Bend tournament to July, the second weekend of July, which is, I think, the 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay.
The Raven event, we will combine our fall shootouts and the spring Raven event together. That's the second weekend of October.
So you're just going to give away $1 billion then?
I'm going to give away a lot of money.
Yes, you are.
The thing about it is, based on the fact that the federal government has got all this under control, first of all, let me say one thing. One thing that I've learned about fishing over the years, you guys included, we're all family.
Amen.
We all stick together.
Yeah.
And but my prayers on behalf of City Outdoors, our entire staff, wife, daughter, everybody, our prayers, and thoughts are out to everybody that's being affected by this. This is something that I don't think any one of them have ever dreamed, have ever seen, ever thought that we would see something of this magnitude that would affect the American people. And it's really a shame. But I know that because we are so thick and believe it or not, kind-hearted, that we'll all get through this, and things will get better. So, I just want to say thank you for you guys' loyalty and support, for the whole industry. We have the most respect for you guys and what you do, and so we'll get through this.
Well,
you know what?
Weather the storm.
I want to focus on the positive of this because you could have just said we're canceling. We're not going to do it. And instead of that, you have elected to postpone. Now, heaven forbid that we have to push the dates even further. But right now, as it stands, and I'm especially interested in the Toledo tournament, July 10, 11, 12. When you move into July, especially, I love the fact that it's a one fish tournament essentially. Though you can have 3 fish in the live well. And we've done that before. I can remember back in the days when me and Dan Wilhelm, you'd go out real quick, catch the 3 big ones, put them in the live well, and then you sit back and kind of like play poker at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And, it looks like I got a good, this is a good 6-pound fish. I think I can weigh it in this hour. But when you move it into July, fish care is going to be a really important issue. And I think that we probably will need to spend some time talking about the best ways to keep that fish alive. And it might be that, you want to go weigh it in right now.
Well, let's think about one thing, guys. Technology today
has really increased a lot. A lot of the new boats, they've upgraded live bell systems, aeration systems, and things. But common sense is going to have to come into play. And I don't really see that a lot of people in Hawaii, and I'm glad that we have a live relief boat. We'll have more than one there. We're going to go to every green that we can when it comes to fish care.
Mm-hmm.
That we'll do. Yes, we can talk even more so about this, and give us, this will give us enough time, with you and Steve and all of y'all to maybe we can come up with here's 5 guidelines that you need to follow.
Mm-hmm. One of the most important that we found was that really the air systems that are being used in today's boat, that's really irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
The most important thing is that water temperature.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, they say, I'm calling a lot of people say, well, we just put bags of ice. Let me tell you something. If you put too much ice in there, you'll put them in shock and kill them instantly.
Yeah,
Right.
That's right.
So there are certain things that you can do, and this is something that I'm sure that all of us, we've been on the water enough. We, at different times of year, I feel like we've got enough knowledge because we've been through it. So, but for a lot of those who haven't been through it, we need to educate them, and that we will. So, I'm sorry for the bad news of having to, especially to do it on your show, but it's something that it's out of our hands. This is federal government dictating us this is what we got to do, and so we're going to follow the protocol and pray for the best that things will get better before June, and trying to get the whole industry back to normal.
Bob, what about your sponsors that help you put on these events? Because I know it's a critical stage for a lot of companies as well. How are they reacting?
Absolutely, and they were one of the first ones. I'm going to rephrase that. They were the second ones we thought about with our fish to make all of this happen possible. We always think about them. They're number one. But our sponsors, and our sponsors have, they understand, but they know that I'm not canceling. I'm postponing. I've got all time. We're still promoting. We've been promoting, and we're going to promote them even more. Mm-hmm. So, it's, and Steve, you guys, y'all depend on those sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
Get this airtime and stuff to do the job that you do. We all do in this industry. And, we're all one big family. Those sponsors are part of this family. And so we'll all work together and do what we can, get the best results. And we just hope and pray that everybody is safe, sound, and healthy. That's the most important.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Mom.
Okay, give me those dates again. We're going to instead of in May, Toledo Bend is going to July. That's 10, 11, and 12 of July, correct?
That's correct.
And we're combining the annual fall tournament on Sam Rayburn with the humongous spring tournament,
correct.
And that will be in when?
That's October. That's the second weekend of October.
But normally it's the 10th and 11th, but now it'll be 9th, 10th, and 11th, right?
Yeah. Right. Now within the next hour and a half, you can go to Sealy Outdoors. We'll have everything posted on there. The instructions of if you want to transfer, if you've already pre-registered for the Raven and Toledo Bend now, and you want to just move it over to the dates that we said, reschedule, that's fine. If you have a scheduling conflict, we'll tell you the process of what we'll go through.
And for our Alabama listeners, Sealy at Gunnersville will be June 12th, 13th, and 14th.
That is correct. And we've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of calls, people transferring stuff over. Some of them do have some scheduling conflicts. But I'll tell you something else that's happened. A lot of people who work for different corporations, say out of state, those companies have told their personnel a lot of, look, if you leave on a vacation deal or you do go across the state line, when you come back, you could be subject to a 14-day quarantine period.
Oh,
I didn't realize.
oh, I ain't heard that.
Yeah, there are.
Wow.
Well, I know that my middle son, who graduated from Arkansas State University, said that a lot of those students up there were being held and said, listen, if you go to another state, it could very well be that we can't we don't know what's going on with that other state.
Yeah.
You might not be allowed to go back to school.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff like that is transpiring going on. I don't know. They say this whole virus, it hits elderly people. Well, let me tell you, unfortunately, I think I fall in that category. 'Cause I'm 71.
Are you really? Wow, I didn't.
Yeah,
think
I'm
he was that
old.
old.
Bob was 71 when he was born.
Anyway, but let me tell you, right now, I'm healthy. I'm good. I ain't got no problem. Don't want no problem.
Amen.
But, I tell you, I have washed my hands more than I probably have ever.
Well, I think it is a fact that if you are uninfected with coronavirus, if you go sit in a bass boat in the middle of Toledo Bend, you're not going to get
Yeah.
it. Isn't that a fact?
Matter of fact, I actually had a doctor to call me and tell me, he said, I'm fishing because I won't let that fire sitting in my boat on the lake.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
right.
I like the way he thinks.
Go to SealyOutdoors.com. Take a look at all of that. And, of course, these events not canceled, just postponed. That just means that you get to anticipate the fun a little bit longer.
Yep.
Hey, I'm telling you, somebody's going to win trucks, boats, and cash money. And you know what? It probably won't be able to come at a better time if we do go through some rough
And
spots.
if the vaccine comes out, Bob could do a vaccine location, for these events.
Hey, let me tell you, what we thought about? If a vaccine does come up, I'm going to volunteer my office parking lot to be first one.
Amen.
Oh, there you go, Bob. That's a great gesture.
Brother, we love you and appreciate you, and we cannot wait for all the big events. Is Toledo and Rayburn. I can't imagine what Rayburn will be like with you combining the two events.
Yeah.
You never know. I got one last thing to say. I need everybody to vote for Trump, put his butt back in office.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, I don't think you're gonna find anybody in here that would argue with you at all, my brother.
No.
Y'all have a lovely day, and thank you guys for all your support and everything. I love you and respect.
Thank you,
bud.
Bob. Bob Seeley, Seeley Outdoors, July 10, 11, and 12 will be Toledo Bend's new date. And then in October, what is it, 9, 10, 11 in October?
9th, 10th, and 11th. That's the shootout. And in conjunction with the regular season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the information at SeeleyOutdoors.com. We're hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Thank you for tuning in today, and maybe you picked up on some tips and info that'll make you a better outdoorsman. This final segment presented by Candyman Pet Lodge, Nichols Department Stores, Cypress the Outdoors, Bass Camps, and Lost Frontier and RV Park. Owner Chase Collins would like to invite you to come and see the new cabins, RV park, and a new swimming pool, along with great food from the bar and grill. Go to Lost Frontier RV Park and Marina.com to see Toledo Bend's newest resort.
Take it away, Mike.
Well, somebody should give me a warning.
All
right.
Somebody should. I've got it right here.
Best time for day.
You ready?
It's this time every week.
Yeah, but I dozed off. I dozed off because we were talking about Bob Seeley was so docile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Seeley is usually it's almost like
He's wired 220.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like he's on cocaine or something. The man probably has never done drugs one day in his life, but he that's the most full of life human being I have ever been
And
around.
it showed you how he's affected by what's going
Yeah,
on.
and you know what? The thing that impressed me the most is he has a genuine concern for those people that are going. And you don't have to be infected.
Bob Seeley never put on another tournament. He's okay financially.
Sure. Oh yeah.
And that's why I was just
You're in the
fixing to say,
BASS Hall of Fame. I mean,
that's why I was just fixing to say. For Bob, it's not about the money.
No,
He really is disappointed.
He's made his
Fishermen
living,
are
yeah.
not going to get to come fish.
Well,
I think he really means that.
the thing that I heard him saying was you don't have to be infected by the virus to be affected by coronavirus.
That's true.
You know, there's livelihoods that could be at stake here, and I could hear that in his voice, and it just makes you love and appreciate him even more.
Here's your Iowa's best times to fish. Finally, this weekend is rated as very good as we're headed in for a new moon. There's a 100% chance of rain on Friday, 20% on Saturday, and 50 on Sunday as a cold front pushes through late Saturday. Temperatures will reach the lower 70s on Friday, but cooler temps return for Saturday and Sunday, with highs reaching the upper 50s, lows dipping into the upper 40s. Best times are going to be midday Friday. You need to be out there fishing from 9:23 a.m. to 12:23 p.m. Sunrise is 7:17.
Can I get a sick excuse from one of y'all?
Well, sure you can.
Be out Friday.
I'll write you one right now. Sunset for Friday is going to be 7:26. Saturday, 10:08 a.m. to 1:08 p.m. Sunrise, 7:16. Sunset, 7:27. Sunday, 10:51 a.m. to 1:51 p.m. Sunrise will be 7:15. Sunset, 7:28. This has been your slightly delayed Iowa's best times to fish.
And real quick, let me give you an update on the weather. 80% chance of rain on Friday, 10% Saturday, and 50% on Sunday.
Now, they were predicting possibly some really nasty stuff in here tomorrow.
Oh, you're right.
So keep that in mind. Your Candyman Pet Lodge pet tip of the week. How about you, Wayne Neeson? Food allergies. Just as people can be allergic to certain foods, so can pets. Bet you didn't know that a food allergy in a dog or a cat results most typically from a protein in the food. Food allergies most commonly cause skin issues in dogs and cats, but vomiting and diarrhea can occur too. Treatment involves removing the offending ingredient from the pet's diet. Finding the offender usually involves a process of elimination. A few examples are, but not limited to, beef, eggs, pork, fish, corn, soybeans, preservatives, and dyes. Typically, it is the protein source in a pet's diet that elicits an allergic reaction. This has been your Candyman Pet Lodge tip of the week, and one more I want to add to that. They say that if you feel feverish or something along those lines in the wake of this coronavirus, don't get up on your pet either. I'm not saying that the pet can contract it, but that you can transfer that germ to the pet, and then somebody else could be loving on the pet a little bit later, and it would transfer from you to the pet and the pet to another person.
I've got a 90-pound lab at home that I found out the only thing he was allergic to was a live porcupine. Anything else he'll eat. Doesn't matter. Dead skunk, it doesn't matter.
But a live porcupine would get him.
He doesn't like that. Upsets his stomach.
And real quick, Bob just touched on the situation with sponsors, and I want to say this to our sponsors. Thank you for your support. We appreciate you. We can't say thank you enough for standing by our pro. For 13 years, we have maintained 90 to 95% of the original group.
Wow.
And my hat's off to you guys. And again, this is a tough time for everybody. Hopefully It'll pass over really quick. As Trump would say, it'll, what does he call it, flow through the system.
Yeah.
I hope it flows through the system real quick.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's why you need that toilet paper.
Exactly.
Well, let's run through a few of the highlights again. The nearest and the dearest to us right here in this room is the postponement of tomorrow night and the following week's
Cash
Splash on Cross Lake.
Yes, we are. They're definitely.
It wasn't the next week; it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks after. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could look the dates up, but then that would require me doing something.
Yeah.
So, and but anyway, the first two events of the Cash Splash are postponed. We hope, and it's starting to look like that's not going to happen. That it be over by in 2 to 3 or 4 weeks.
Right.
But if it does, and we get cranked up, we have the option of running every week since we're the only one as we stand, putting on a Thursday night tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being every other week, we could catch up really easy by fishing every week. And most of the anglers did fish the TNT and the Cash Splash.
Yeah,
That wouldn't be a stretch for us.
Yeah.
Right.
The Boss tournament that was going to be on Toledo Bend, April the 4th, has been postponed until we can figure out if there's anything we can do. Now we're finding out that you just pointed out
The Sealy
earlier,
tournament.
SRA. No, let me talk, Charlotte. Let me talk. That the May
Get a
tournament,
job.
the May tournament for Boss, which is going to be on Lake Vista out of the state park. Now they got the state park. There's going to be a campground for sickies or something. I don't know what it's called.
He just said that. He just
It's
said
a holding site.
He just said that. You heard that, didn't
For
you?
what?
That was not Steve Graff or Gary McCoy or Jay Watley.
No.
It
What
was
did you call it? A staging area
for COVID-19.
Yeah. So whatever that
It's a
is,
staging.
we can't go to
That's
Lake
effective
Vista.
today.
Yeah. Okay. We can't go to the state park, and that's going to be
Yeah.
in effect for a while. So we're not sure what's going to happen to the May tournament yet. So
You're not going to try to do it at Rick's, huh?
we have done a big time trailer tournament.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done
Restaurant
it
was
there.
open back then.
Yeah, and had the weigh in. Most people came by water.
Yeah.
And some of them came by boat, by truck. We've done it. I'm not going to say that could be our only option.
Okay.
To have that, but we've got to do something. No, we don't have to. We can do just like BASS. They have 4 open tournaments in the Central Division. One of them gets canceled because of the flood. They go with 3 tournaments from
Right.
here.
Right.
What about Beckham's? Can you put them on
No. Back when David Parker was launching there was room for David's boat and somebody else.
Yeah, Randy Fair.
Yeah.
I was willing.
So,
anyway,
but we are doing March the 28th. We are going to do a kind of a fast put together Lucky 13. Now we got one in April there, and because we can do this and keep the 10 fish in 10 people in a congregation down to the government guidelines.
Now, March 28th, will that be a Saturday or Sunday?
That's a Saturday.
That's
yes.
a Saturday.
I'm going to do that for the people that have not been able to fish it on Sundays.
Okay, fantastic.
Cool.
Take us home, Brother Graff.
While we continue our fight with the coronavirus and take precautions necessary to help protect ourselves and all Americans, it's a great time to reconnect with the outdoors. Spring has sprung, so let's take this opportunity to connect and to get family outdoors. If isolation is the answer, then go camping, go fishing, spend time in nature. At some point, this will all blow over and we can get back to our routine lives. But for the time being, get outside and enjoy mild temperatures and the beautiful weather. Nothing is better for the soul than God's great outdoors.
Amen.
For Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, Jay Wiley, yours truly, Steve Kraft. Thank you for listening. Tune in Saturday mornings at 6 right here on 1130 The Tiger for more hooking up and tracking news.
Cat scratch fever. Cat scratch.